No, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. I forgot to use the Instagram stream key. Something, something, something. There we go. All right. Come on. Come on. Hey. Yep, start any day now. Perfect. Oh God, it is so fucking hot out here in LA. I am craving a beer. You have no idea, but unfortunately I have shit to do after this, so I was gonna have to wait. Dutton, welcome. How are you? Vin Vieba, welcome. Alyssa Brahimi, welcome. Ooh, I got food in my teeth. Ah, there we go. Yeah, man, a really cold beer on a hot summer day just hits the fucking spot. But alas, I gotta stick to sodas and Gatorade at least until I get home for the night. Doing good, man. It's just hot as hell out here in LA, so I got a little bit of limited time because I still am not sure what time I'm needed to get out to this event tonight. So let's dive in. The party that consistently cheats is telling you to worry about voter fraud. Yes, that is right. The guy who cheats on his wives, his taxes, and even cheats at fucking golf. Who is such a pathetic, weak individual they have to cheat at golf? A golf that's about as exciting as watching grass grow. There could be nothing more low stakes than fucking golf, aside from maybe trying to flip a bottle and get it to land on its head. Low fucking stakes. And yet, here he is cheating at fucking golf. So, this is what, if we remember, this is what started the ultimate treason off between Trump and his big daddy Vladdy Putin.
That a person in our government, Katie, would delete or get rid of 33,000 emails. That gives me a big problem. After she gets a subpoena, she gets subpoenaed, and she gets rid of 33,000 emails. That gives me a problem. Now, if Russia or China or any other country has those emails, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to see them. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So keep in mind, this is active treason. This was him asking an enemy foreign power, an enemy of the United States, whom we had previously been at multiple kind of saber-rattling sessions about, and he is begging them for help. Begging them for help. Not only that, but he's very specific in what he's asking for. He's asking for these 33,000 emails that went missing. Remember when it was just emails that went missing and not, you know, an entire database of a pedophile sex trafficking ring, including Donald Trump, run by the world's billionaires? Remember when it was much lower stakes, like just 33,000 emails about, hey, did you schedule that appointment with Joe? Remember those days? Yeah, so fun, right? And he's very specific in his ask, and what's even most telling is that immediately after this, Putin did exactly that. They went after these emails, and they started hacking the Podesta emails, and then, lo and behold, they were able to find them, and eventually got them released via WikiLeaks. You had to mow the grass outdoors and had heat stroke? Dude, yeah, man, this heat is something else. I mean, I'm used to heat here in LA, but this feels different from the last couple of summers that I've been in. Top One Top says, hi, how are you? RM Payne Gomala, I don't even know what that means. DT is a piece of shit. Yeah, well, Donald Trump is a pedophile and a traitor to America. Oh, we have our first trigger mega pedophile. Tom V1234 says, thank God we got a real man in a White House. Yeah, a real man who wears makeup, doesn't work out, beats his wives, and rapes children. Yeah, Tom, what a real strong man. A guy who gets triggered over TV shows doing impressions and wants to cancel the TV show because he can't take a joke. Yeah, Tom, you guys really chose a real man there. A guy who has to make fun of disabled people and then can't take a joke about his own fucking hair. Yeah, Tom, Real man, real speak, man to man. Yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up, dog. Fucking pathetic ass loser. It's so hot in the south, plus humidity. Yeah, you're in one of the Carolinas, is it, Dutton? I think, something like that. Um, so not only did Donald Trump commit treason by openly begging, getting on all fours, and begging Big Daddy Vladdy to just face fuck him, Donald Trump's party of pedophiles, including Ken Paxton, who, by the way, did actually let a pedophile off the hook and let him not even get on the sex offender registry. So, Ken Paxton vowed to crack down on illegal voting. He may have violated Texas election law. The Texas Attorney General appears to have used an address where he did not live while voting in 6 elections in the past 2 years, despite his warning voters that it is illegal to misrepresent your residence on election records. So weird. GOP ex-lawmaker, Turning Point Action leader, offered plea deal in petition signature forgery case. Former Arizona legislator Austin Smith has been offered a plea deal in a multiple felony criminal case that alleges he personally forged numerous voter signatures on his own petitions for re-election. Wow, crazy, actual election fraud. Breaking, Florida Republicans exposed in massive voter fraud scheme. 3 Florida Republicans were just charged with creating a fake voter guide to steal an election. They did not hack the machines. They did not stuff the ballot box. They printed a fake Republican voter guide, made it look nearly identical to the real one, and mailed it to tens of thousands of voters before a 2024 primary. It worked. An incumbent won by fewer than 1,000 votes. Now 3 elected officials in St. Johns County, Florida, are facing criminal charges over it. Wow, interesting. So these people don't look like immigrants. These people don't look like China. These people sure as hell don't look trans, and yet they're the ones doing this? GOP registration worker charged with voter fraud. A campaign worker linked to a controversial Republican consulting firm has been arrested in Virginia and charged with throwing voter registration forms into a dumpster. Holy fuck! This is the guy? That's a serial killer right there. This dude looks like an actual psychopath. The suspect, Colin Small, funny his name is Small, 31, was described by a local law enforcement official as a supervisor in a Republican Party-financed operation to register voters in Rockingham County in rural Virginia, a key swing state in the November 6th election. He was arrested after a local business owner in the same Harrisburg, Virginia shopping center, where the local GOP campaign headquarters is located, spotted Small tossing a bag into the trash, according to a statement Thursday by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office. The bag was later found to contain 8 voter registration forms, it said. The arrest was reported Thursday night, and it's crazy. Again, not a trans person. I think it's reasonable to conclude he's also not Muslim. Now, if you recall, during 2024, during the heated campaign election, there were multiple bomb threats called in to polling sites where Democrats were voting. Hoax bomb threats made to dozens of polling locations in swing states. No bombs were found, and disruptions to voting were minimal. The FBI said threats made in Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona came from Russian email domains. Who has been shown to be friendly towards Russia again?
If Russia or China or any other country has those emails, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to see them. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Russia, huh? That's interesting. So they came from Russian email domains, which Trump is friendly with, and they also happened to target the exact swing states that mattered the most in turning the election for Trump. So weird. It's almost like the people who are claiming voter fraud are the people committing voter fraud over and over and over and over again. Monkey17 says, your president is a demented idiot, narcissistic, sociopathic, pedo, greedy rapist. Greetings from Norway. Greetings from America, I guess. Hello, Norway. I'm very sorry about the World Cup. We were all rooting for Holland over here. He's one hell of a player. And yes, agree on all your points, Monkey. Hi, Hamzi. How are you? So Trump, of course, had a big fascist speech yesterday, begging people to pass the SAVE Act. Because without the SAVE Act, which is just another effort at voter disenfranchisement, and one other key point I want to talk about is that these hoax bomb threats, the Republican pedo party has been perfecting hoax bomb threats over the last couple of years, almost decade now. For example, Chaya Raichik, the pedophile terrorist that runs Libs of TikTok, is an account that has repeatedly targeted Americans. And then, for example, she targeted a children's hospital, a children's fucking hospital, you know, that big nest of vile vipers that treats children so that children don't die. Yeah, really evil people in there. So she targeted that hospital. And then, lo and behold, immediately after targeting that hospital, bomb threats start flowing in. This is a time and time again, this is a pattern with her where she calls out individuals, organizations, and then lo and behold, those places become targets of bomb threats. And this is not new within the MAGA pedo party in general. If you recall, in 2016, during the whole Pizzagate theory, and I love how everybody that was into Pizzagate is now completely AWOL when it comes to the Epstein files. Like, they're quieter than a fucking church mouse. So they targeted this place called Comet Pizza, I think it was, claiming that there was an underground sex trafficking ring happening at that pizza based on the dumbest fucking interpretations of the Podesta emails, because the Podesta emails were hacked by Trump and Russia in 2016, which he begged Russia to do because he's a traitor to America. So those emails were hacked from John Podesta, and then John Podesta and people were constantly emailing each other like, I think I could go for Italian. How do you feel about pizza? As one does, which, of course, as any normal person understands, that's actually code for, hey, let's go rape kids in an underground basement. As you know, that's what, anytime you've been texting your friends like, hey, what sounds good today? How about pizza? You're obviously not getting Pizza Hut. You're getting pizza swing set on a playground with children hut. As totally normal thought processes go. So, during the Comet Ping Pong shit, a MAGA terrorist showed up to that specific restaurant with a gun and started firing. Fortunately, no one was injured, and he was arrested without incident. But this was the start of the MAGA terrorism campaign, where they realized they have this radical base of criminals, rapists, and terrorists that are primed to go. Cesar Soriak, of course, is another one of them who mailed bombs to Biden, Obama, Hillary, CNN, and several other targets. And they realize that they can take advantage of this. And they also realize that law enforcement, by and large, does not care and will not aid in finding these terrorists, because law enforcement's goal is to protect the billionaires, not to protect the people. So, once they realize this, they realize they could harness this, and they could just call out targets, and that is now used to suppress opposition to them, which is exactly what happened here with these hoax bomb threats. Genghis Khan 233, I'm kind of pro something. And I believe that I don't even know these names you're talking about. Oh my God. The weirdest people always come into my chat. 120 degrees here, so if I say something dumb later on, sorry. Don't worry, Hamzi. Drink plenty of water, dude. That's why I got my Gatorade. I'm making sure I'm staying hydrated. We're definitely not that hot out here, but it's a rough one. So, Trump's speech was whining and bitching and moaning a lot about raw intelligence. Well, raw intelligence is a good thing and a bad thing. Raw intelligence is a good thing because it can, open up paths of inquiry that can be like, oh, well, this sounds credible, we should look into this. It's a bad thing because it can also be disinformation. It can throw you off the actual trail of where you want to go. So Mehdi Hassan, because he is always on the mark, said, by the way, Donald Trump, well, I'll just let him, he'll just do this.
I feel like Donald Trump has gone full George W. Bush this year. The bombing of Iran, the embrace of the neocons, and now standing up and giving addresses to the nation, claiming to be citing U.S. intelligence, which isn't really U.S. intelligence, claiming to be quoting the CIA, which hasn't really been vetted by the CIA, and then insisting on finding a smoking gun, that they're so incompetent they can't even find the smoking gun. Remember, George Bush, they could have planted WMDs. I always think about the Iraq War and think, why didn't they just plant some WMDs? No one would have known. They were too incompetent. They got so exposed.
It's kind of a good point, actually.
Donald Trump doing this address, and now we're going through all the information. He's being mocked again, rightly so, tonight, because he hasn't got anything. This line, Swin, jumped out to me. I'm going to read it to you. This is my favorite line from Donald Trump tonight. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020.
I do love Mehdi's British. Raw intelligence. Like instead of RAW becomes RAWR, like what a dinosaur would say, like raw intelligence. Always love that shit.
Yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. So this statement is so good because it says that even this statement says they attempted to manufacture illegal. It doesn't say that ballots were changed. It doesn't say that Joe Biden got any fake votes. And the favorite part is raw intelligence obtained by the FBI. Do we know what raw intelligence is? It means it's unvetted. It means it could be a tip. It could be anything randomly that the FBI got hold of. That's why it's called raw. That's why it doesn't go to the president directly. And by the way, Donald Trump, if we are now accepting raw intelligence from the FBI, I would remind you that the FBI, in the Epstein files, claims to have lots of unverified intelligence about Donald Trump abusing children, which we all rightly, responsibly as journalists say, you know what? Donald Trump denies that, and it's not been verified. These are just things in the files that the FBI were looking into. Well,
So what's funny about this is that if you wanted to talk about the WikiLeaks dump, that was also, you know, kind of quote-unquote raw intelligence. It was raw intelligence of an enemy foreign power, which the right wing, because they are traitors to America, weaponized against American for their own treasonous goals. However, like he said, as journalists, you're not going to just publish that because it's unverified. And yet, the right-wing propaganda went with it anyways. But I guess that's also why, you know, Fox Fake News had to pay $750 million, and these other organizations have not. Genghis Khan, isn't Antifa the new SS? Dude, Antifa fought the SS. Let me ask you something, Genghis Khan. Since you think the anti-fascists are the new Nazis, how do you feel about what do you believe that the Holocaust happened and that 6 million, maybe more Jews died? What's your opinion on the Holocaust? Let's see who between us is the Nazi, Genghis Khan. Let's do this, buddy. Let's go. Go ahead. Tell me what you think about the Holocaust, Genghis Khan. Fascism has its root in monotheism. Well, if you're talking about like the monarchies, yeah, definitely. The monarchs were all fascists. Even FBI is in the files. No, Hamzi, you're misunderstanding. The FBI has, what Mehdi is saying is that the FBI has raw intelligence, meaning it's unverified, unvetted, about Donald Trump raping children. Some of it has actually been corroborated. For example, there's a lawsuit in 2016. Excuse me, it was filed in 2016. About Donald Trump raping a 13-year-old girl with Epstein, gang raping her at one of Epstein's party. This has also been corroborated in other sources within the Epstein files. There's also another woman who went to the FBI and met with them multiple times that she was raped by Donald Trump, and he tried to force her to give him a blowjob when she had to bite him on the dick in order to escape. That's an example of raw intelligence, except that has also been corroborated with other people. Oh, we have another triggered mega pedophile. Fred Hayes 7215 says, I see you have an anti-American flag behind you. I love how these pedophile MAGA say anti-fascist is un-American because they are fascists. Like by saying anti-fascist is un-American, by definition, admits that you are a fascist. And by the way, America was the one that fought the Nazis. So congratulations, Fred Hayes. You're just a Nazi pedophile. Like, you fucked yourself. Every time you pedophiles open your mouths or start typing in this case, you just show that you know nothing more than how to fuck yourselves. Which is good because no one wants to fuck you, so at least this way you can get some form of relief. Dr. Dynamite 9105 says, anyone calling Antifa Nazis are horse? That's an insult to horse. Come on now. Whores actually have good work and ethics. Well, you certainly are the new Nazi and SS. Jewish people are great and the Holocaust did happen, plus Israel is a great country. Okay, Genghis Khan. So how is it that I can be a Nazi when I'm the one saying that the Holocaust happened? That we, as America, kicked the fuck out of Nazis. So how could I be a Nazi when I'm fighting Nazis in my own chat? Do you understand why you sound like a fucking idiot? And you think that everyone is MAGA. It's crazy how you come in here talking every MAGA point and then you say you're not MAGA. Bro, I get that you're in the closet, like being MAGA and also about your sexuality. Just come out. Just come out. All you gotta do, grab the handle, open the door, and come out the closet, brother. We're not going to judge you. I mean, I'm going to judge you for being a MAGA pedophile, but I'm not going to judge you for being, you know, a homosexual. How can a religion be anti a country? I don't understand your question, Hamzi. Hig Homstead says 8647. Yeah! 8647, that fat pedophile fuck. Dr. Dynamite, that's fair. I apologize to hardworking sex workers. Sex workers work harder than anybody in this fucking regime. When you think about it, sex workers have to, like, for example, I saw this great post. Lindsey Graham died, and it's pretty open and shut that Lindsey Graham was having sex with trans sex workers, and these trans sex workers had to actually humanize Lady Graham, a guy who would make them do the most heinous things to him while he's wearing red lingerie, and yet he would then the very next day go and vote against their rights to exist as human beings. It's funny how that works. Genghis Khan says, but where's the Nazis? They're in the White House, dude. Are you American? Like, because you actually, I take that back. You're definitely American because you're a fucking idiot. So that makes sense. Fetterman is about the only sane Democrat because he has brain damage. He's got the same amount of brain damage as your pedo Fuhrer. So, yeah, I guess he is the sane one. Technically, when your definition of sane is just being a fucking idiot with brain damage, yeah, that makes sense. As a gay, we don't want him. Sorry, Doc. We'll just push him out. Let him go over to the right wing where they can also kick him the fuck out. Fuck these MAGA pedophiles. I don't give a shit.
Well, if we're going to start playing the raw intelligence game, does Donald Trump now accept the raw intelligence in the Epstein files?
Medi with the hook and the bait. Got him. Got his ass. And this is true. There are so many raw intelligence. And don't get me wrong. There are apps. I've read a lot of the raw intelligence in the Epstein files about that has been released or that has been leaked about Trump raping children. There are several of them. Even the FBI's own files said, they don't find them credible or, these things cannot be corroborated and it just seems sketchy. So those ones are fair to kind of rule out. But then again, there are the other ones, like the girl who said that Trump tried to force her to give him a blowjob. Those ones seem to be very legitimate because even the FBI wanted more meetings with them and were able to corroborate other facts in her story. That log cabin is looking more like a cabin in the woods. Yeah, it's getting more and more isolated every day. So here's the logic here. Trump says Democrats forgot to rig the election in 2016, successfully rigged it while he was president in 2020, then forgot how to rig it again in 2024 when the Democrats were in charge. So the only election Democrats supposedly stole was the one he himself controlled. You have to be a special kind of stupid to believe this bullshit, which is exactly what pedophiles like Genghis Khan 233 would fall for, right? Because they're incapable of actually thinking because their IQ and their thought process is the same level as the children that they rape. So they don't have adult capacity to think, because if you could think, you would see this and be like, yeah, how is it the Democrats rig one election but then not the other one, even though they're the ones that wanted to get power, and then they were in power, they couldn't rig it again. It makes no fucking sense. It always falls on its face. So, again, you have to be a special kind of stupid to believe Democrats were capable of stealing the 2020 election while out of power, but somehow incapable of doing the same in 2024 while in power. That is a categorically, phenomenally dumb thing to believe, which is why pedophiles like Genghis Khan 233 do believe that. Oh, I meant full of monsters like the movie. Yeah, the entire MAGA pedo party is just nothing but monsters and evil, soulless creatures. So, anyways, now this is CNN, so I want to take it with a grain of salt that CNN is a fascist media organization that is on the side of the Zionists and on the side of the Trump pedo regime. However, occasionally, just like the Washington Post and the New York Times, and sometimes even the Wall Street Journal, they do actually do verifiable independent reporting. So this is one of the instances.
All right, Marshall, okay, level set for us. There are a lot of claims that were made tonight. What, if anything, did we actually learn that was new and substantiated?
Well, Laura, look, we've had a team here at CNN going through all these documents. This is just a small number. There are about 500 of them, and it's new stuff. There is new material in here because these are declassified materials. But as you just pointed out, for everything that Trump is raising, it seems like there's always a counterpoint, a rebuttal, a piece of context that needs to be included. So a couple key points here that we found. One of the things that the White House has been touting all night is that they're arguing that China got access to 200 million voter files for 200 million Americans. What they might not have pointed out is that a lot of those voter files, you can buy them online. A lot of the states sell them. And also, intelligence agencies have said for years that China is trying to get as much data as they can get its hands on. And the intelligence report said...
So this is one of the crucial things here is that Trump has been trying to claim that because China got access to the voter data files, that therefore the election is corrupt. Anybody can get access to that shit. Israel can get access to that shit. Saudi Arabia can access to that shit. Canada can get access to that shit. Your neighbor can get access to that shit. Now, whether or not that should be a thing that we allow is a totally different question. But to say, oh my God, they got access to the voter rolls, so therefore everything is corrupt. That's not the fucking way it works at all. Jason Warlock says, dump truck. We are trying. We are trying. Oh, we have another triggered mega pedophile. Candleflame4355 says, I'm willing to bet your hard drives will get you 20 years. Too bad you aren't a billionaire and immune from consequences. Well, doesn't that show that since I'm not a billionaire and not immune from consequences, that nothing's wrong on my hard drive because I haven't been arrested? Meanwhile, your pedophile Fuhrer is a pedophile in the Epstein files more than anyone else, is accused by multiple women of raping them as children, and also even more women of raping them as adults, and yet he hasn't even been charged because, as you said, he's a billionaire and immune from consequences. Your own logic fucks with your whole point. You guys are so fucking stupid. You just got logicked, bro. Get logicked, motherfucker. Oh, we have another triggered mega pedophile. I love it when they come back to back when I'm in between segments here. So, trigger mega pedophile, Jakob's fave, YT says, fuck Antifa, you left-wing fruits. We'll be seeing what's up real soon. I love how, like, seeing a flag makes these pedophiles go and make terroristic threats. Hey, Jakobs, by the way, you're on the list. Don't worry, I'm pulling up your profile. I'm going to download everything you got here. Hold on. Let me pull you up real quick, buddy. Jakobs, so YAKUBSFAVYT, again, saying, fuck Antifa, you left-wing fruits. We'll be seeing what's up real soon. Terroristic threat on my channel. Excellent. Love being able to screenshot that. 22 subscribers, 43 videos. Says, F the left, vote blue, F you, commie. Oh, look, it's a pedophile using homophobic slurs, so it's definitely in the closet. Joined February 14, 2013. Hey, congratulations on 22 subs, 43 views, or 43 videos. Wow, you're really talented, buddy. Okay, I've got your whole profile downloaded. Sending that over to Antifa HQ. We're going to have, like, your whole address. We're going to have your hard drive IP address track soon. So, hey, Jakobs, don't go anywhere. The longer you're online, the easier this is. So do me a favor, just stay in the chat. Don't go nowhere. We want to make sure we get all of your information so that we can track you down and make sure you're held accountable for your terroristic threats. Why do all Trump supporters don't debate or argue? They say dumb shit or threat. Because they're terrorists. Because they're pedophiles. Their entire ideology is not based on facts, reason, and logic. It's based on shouting, intimidation, and violence. And then what they can't stand is people like me. I'm a gun owner, and I'm not going to back down to these pedophiles. So, yeah. They can't handle it, which is why my channel particularly triggers them so much. Oh, another trigger by a pedophile. FatBass12 says, LOL, the Antifa goofballs. Dude, how is this guy not in jail? Clearly a terrorist. I'm not in jail clearly because I'm not a terrorist, whereas you are a pedophile and should be in jail. So this is PHATBASS12. Okay, another one for the list. Got it. Excellent. Love that. Actually, time to get YouTube involved. You are projecting. Oh, you got to run to the refs. See, Hamzi, this is another thing these pedophiles do. They can't actually handle the back and forth, right? They love to fuck around, but then when they get in the find out phase, then they're like, no, ref, please, daddy umpire, help me. Then they have to throw a fit, and they, look at this. Actually, time to get YouTube involved. You are projecting. You fucking coward baby little bitch. Go and hide behind your mother's skirt more, you fucking cuck. Oh my God, I gotta look at your profile. Of course you don't have an actual profile picture, just another faceless, nameless MAGA pedophile that if you were to put your face on your profile would trigger the fucking Chris Hansen alert. PHATBASS12, joined May 23rd, 2026. 0 videos, 0 subscribers, 0 talent, 0 bitches. Fuck you, pedo! Anyway, Hamzi, this is typically what you get with these MAGA pedophiles in my chat. They can't actually talk the facts. They can't talk what's happening because the simple fact is their leader is a pedophile, and there's no going around that. So they have to deflect, lie, cheat, stamp their feet, and run to the ref, as this pedophile FatBass12 does. 3 and raw, dude, you got skills. Ugh. I'm not a fan of the way you phrase that, to be honest with you.
That China was hacking voter files, social media, hospitals, not just elections. Another key point in these new documents concerns that Venezuela was experimenting with software that could flip votes. This has been a claim that has been coming up over and over and over since.
Which, if you recall, when it comes to flipping votes, Elon Musk was the one that actually used voter machines in certain areas, and those voter machines were shown to be extremely insecure in those elections. Now, there's some uncorroborated evidence that voters were flipped, so I love that they're just shit again. Everything, just like Fat Bass 12, Jakob's Faith YT, all these mega pedophiles, Candleflame 4355, they can't own up to the fact that this orange guy is a pedophile, so they have to project. Look over here, look over here, look over here, look over here, look everywhere else except for this guy who is a pedophile, terrorist, child raping, criminal, traitor to America. Look everywhere else. They can't actually fucking deal in the facts because they're the ones behind all the crimes. Hardright_V says, I have a Patriot Front flag behind me on my live cast. Okay, so you're a terrorist? Are you trying to brag that you have a tiny dick? I don't know what your point is here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Three in a row. Fuck autocorrect. Three in a row, and you type 3 in a row. That's funny.
Since 2020 from Trump allies, we looked at the CIA memo that described that allegation, and it made pretty.
I love how this guy's glasses make him look like Bubbles from that Canadian Trailer Park Boys.
Clear that, yeah, Venezuela might be able to do that at home, but the assessment from the CIA was that they wouldn't be able to do that abroad in the U.S. For obvious reasons. And one last point, Laura, there was new information that the White House claimed showed from the Department of Homeland Security 250,000 non-citizens on the voter rolls. That's their allegation. We looked deeper into the data, and the sources of that information are just not so reliable. When you looked at the better source, the government sources that assess who's a citizen, who's not, it was a much smaller number, only about 28,000.
Yeah, so what comes down to is that this is all, again, it's all projection, it's all bullshit. They cherry pick certain things, they overinflate other things, and then when you actually get down to the nitty-gritty, their own accusations are undermined by their own evidence. They're arguing that China got access to 200 million voter files for 200 million Americans, but they might not have pointed out is that a lot of those voter files, you can buy them online. Concerns that Venezuela was experimenting with software that could flip votes. We looked at the CIA memo that described that allegation and made pretty clear that Venezuela might be able to do that at home, but the assessment from the CIA is they wouldn't be able to do that abroad. There was new information that the White House claims showed from the Department of Homeland Security 250,000 non-citizens on the voter rolls. That's their allegation. We looked deeper into the data, and the source of that information are just not so reliable. When you looked at the better source, the government sources that assess the who's a citizen and who's not, it was a much smaller number, only about 28,000. Even of these 28,000, that's not actually confirmed. That's not actually verified. And again, 28,000 people spread across a country of 360 some odd million people is an insanely small amount. So it's extremely unlikely that they would be able to influence anything. Oh, Genghis Khan, are you throwing a shit fit? It's okay, buddy. I'm just going to keep shutting you the fuck up because I actually have shit. I'm glad you're here and you can keep sitting and rage watching in my chat because I would love the engagement. Thank you so much for boosting my algorithm. But I actually have stuff to cover. You're a triggered MAGA pedophile, and I don't really care what you have to say because you rape children, so therefore you're not really reliable. Anyway, moving on. Not going to be responding to your bullshit anymore. Oh, we have another trigger MAGA pedophile. Eric-C9U3N. Democrat states wouldn't show their vote their rolls. Do you mean voter rolls? Hey, remember how Ken Paxton illegally voted? Hey, Eric, do you remember when Turning Point Action Leader was arrested for a petition signature forgery case in his own election? Hey, remember when these 3 Republicans were arrested in a massive voter fraud scheme? Hey, remember when this serial killer looking guy, which actually is probably you because you look like a triggered little MAGA pedophile, remember when he was arrested for voter fraud? Yeah, Eric, because you guys are the criminals. Everything you say and do is always literally fucking projection. Democrats let y'all rapists out of jail. Your pedophile, Ken Paxton, let a pedophile out of jail. What are you saying? See, Hamzi, this is what these pedophiles have to do. They can't deal in facts, right? They can't deal in facts. They can't deal in evidence. They can't deal in the truth. So they have to project, deflect, just make up a bunch of shit that never actually happened. Oh, no, triggering mega pedophile. Scott Shoop 5184 says, Trump, 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 USA, USA, abolish the Democratic Party. I have never seen someone so desperate to out themselves as a pedophile. Congratulations, Scott's Hoop 5184. You are a pedophile. Donald Trump raped children, and you support that, which also makes you a pedophile. See, Hamzi, this is why everyone that comes into my chat, it's absolutely safe to assume they're a pedophile because they're coming in here talking about rapists. They don't talk about this guy who raped 2 teenage girls. And this guy, Scott Soup, is cheering on Donald Trump, who enables this, a Texas neo-Confederate who had child sex abuse material. They always have to project. The entire Republican Party needs to be abolished, eradicated, and we need to beat them out of existence at the polls. If you can buy votes, what's the point of elections and voting? Well, Hamzi, that's the problem that we find ourselves in right now. Trump's big document released tonight, supposedly meant to prove China stole the 2020 election, includes this classified intel graphic, making clear that Russia was the only country trying to meddle in American voting systems. So this is a very interesting graphic. Apparently, it's not going to show up right on the vertical stream. There, that's a little better. Okay, so the categories are, if there's an X, not observed, not aimed primarily at United States, or only symbolic, a circle, preliminary or preparatory steps with or without specific intent, and then check mark is observed. Public opinion, overt, releasing press statements, state-run media, right, they've all done that. Public opinion, covert, covertly messaging on social media, yeah, they've all done that. National leaders in policy, covertly influencing, they've all done that. State or local leaders or policy, it looks like Russia and China, covertly influencing state or local government leaders' thinking or politics, they've both done that. Iran has not been seen to do so. Leaking intelligence, acquired information. We know that Russia did that. China was preparing to do so. Iran has done that. I do recall that being a thing in 2016. To a very, very small extent, though. Election processes targeting, accessing, or manipulating election processes or election-related systems. Yeah, so it looks like Russia's been the one that's actually been observed. China and Iran are preparing for it. Legal processes influencing, right, this makes sense. Economic leverage, offering economic inducements. Ooh, this is interesting. Russia hasn't done that. China has, Iran hasn't. Punitive measures retaliating, Iran has not, but Russia and China have. Very interesting. Trump's big document released tonight, supposedly meant to prove China stole the 2020 election, includes the classified intel graphic, making clear that Russia was the only country trying to meddle in American voting systems. Yeah, so this, again, their own evidence undermines everything that they're trying to say. Oops, that's not the screen I wanted. Let's see, where were we? There we go. Couple trigger mega pedophiles here. Xenon Xerox 1712 says this person is a confirmed pedophile and a doxer. Okay, so I'm a confirmed pedophile and yet I'm not in the Epstein files, but Trump is. Make it make sense. Cool. You sound very credible, Xenon. Wolf King, another trigger mad pedophile. Elections can be hacked. Whoever said they can't is a liar. Trump's a good president. Is that why Trump begged a fucking enemy government to steal an election? Remember this? Remember Wolf King? He's such a good president they committed treason.
Russia or China or any other country has those emails? I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love to see them. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably...
Wow, Wolf King. You support a traitor. Guess what? That also makes you a traitor. So I look forward to your day in Nuremberg. I can't wait to have you unmasked, thrown before the entire world so we can see the entire, see what a fucking traitor and a pedophile in the Republican pedo party looks like. I love that for you, and I cheer the day that it comes. And trust me, Wolf King, it's coming sooner rather than later. The main doc here appears to be the October 2020 memorandum prepared by the National Intelligence Officer for Cyber and the Directorate. It says China took low-level exploratory steps to undermine Trump in 2020, but it also says the Chinese government didn't do it, but was aware of Chinese actors who did. This is really incredible. Docs released by Trump tonight confirm Russia tried to spread claims Biden was engaged in criminal activity vis-a-vis Burisma, and that advanced those narratives with U.S. officials and planned a high-profile corruption scandal at the peak of 2020 U.S. presidential election. So, yet again, everything that Trump is claiming is being done by Russia, and because it's his big daddy Vladimir Putin, he's okay with that. The consensus intel community assessment was that China did not try to influence the 2020 election. One intel officer had an alternative view, which was that Beijing has taken at least some low-level exploratory steps, but not the most aggressive options, hardly a smoking gun. And keep in mind that this guy, in 2020, it was Trump's people in charge. So if the election was stolen, Trump's people failed to protect America. If you took him at his word, which of course we don't because he's an idiot, a pedophile, and a liar, But he's trying to blame all this shit on Biden. Biden was not in charge in 2020. Every single thing he's accusing Biden of, he was not in charge. He could not have done it. It was his people that did this shit. They defend their Trump like if it's their dad. If my dad did that, he ain't my dad anymore. Difference, my dad takes bullets for our country, not dicks. Hamzi, I think you kind of hit on a real thing there, is that these people are completely damaged, broken, evil individuals at their core. So Genghis Khan here, the Wolf King, who is this other? Scott Soup, 5184. These people are completely broken and void of any kind of humanity at their core. So when they see someone evil like Trump, who's just as evil and child rapey as they are, that's where they identify, right? And so when we target Trump, we're not just targeting Trump. They think we're targeting them because they're also rapists. They're also pedophiles. They're also traitors. So they take that personally. And that's why they're completely incapable of talking the facts, and they just go straight to the fucking, base instincts of being a fucking ape. Oh, another trigger man, a pedophile. Gene Wood 4489, congrats on being a terrorist. Enjoy the report, pussy. Maybe you should leave the country if you don't like it. Here, Snowflake. Actually, I'm an American. You are a child raping pedophile terrorist. So I think it's actually you that should leave. No one wants you here. You're not wanted. You're not liked. Everybody despises you, so the best thing for the country and for you is to fucking leave. I closed my shit here. Let me trade this. No, that's the wrong one. There we go. There we go. Oh, WTF over 2. Welcome, welcome. Patriotism, showing love and pride for your country while seeing it can still be made better for everyone. Nationalism, love it or get out. Yeah, I mean, that's nationalism. Nationalists would literally sit in a country of their own shit rather than try to get people health care. Well, if you like health care so much, why don't you go to Europe? How about you just fuck off? Exile yourself. This is why we have, like I said, we have to Nuremberg every single one of these people. Defending a billionaire while eating instant ramen and the electricity bill is undue seems stupid so much. Yeah, dude. I mean, again, the Trump regime is literally having like lobster rolls and fucking shrimp and steak, and these pedophiles are just sitting in an absolute dumpster of a home eating cup of noodles heated up with a microwave that is sparking, and they're like, I don't want health care from an Antifa lefty. Brad-JZ6MI says an actual terrorist. Yeah, I do agree. Trump is an actual terrorist. He's also a traitor and a pedophile, so he's got all that going for him. We have to round up and imprison Antifa terrorists. Oh, you're just a fascist. See, because Antifa is anti-fascist, so by wanting to round up Antifa, you admit you are a fascist. So you're a Nazi. And the other thing that we're seeing so commonly is that so many Nazis are also pedophiles. So Brad-JZ6MI is not only a Nazi by his own admission, he's also a pedophile by being a Nazi. Got your ass. You got logic, motherfucker. U.S. voter data was purchased by China on commercial websites. Anyone can purchase this data. We already talked about this. One of the supposedly damning docs the White House released tonight says Russia tried to undermine Biden. Also says China prefers that President Trump be defeated, but actually Beijing did not intend to try to affect the election. We assess that Russia is using a range of measures primarily to denigrate former Vice President Biden and what it sees as an anti-Russia establishment. For example, it is directing or encouraging proxies to spread claims about Vice President Biden. Some Kremlin-linked actors are also seeking to boost President Trump's candidacy on social media. More broadly, Moscow's efforts seek to amplify social discord in the U.S. and undermine Washington's global standing. So the fact that Donald Trump is helping this and doing nothing about it is literal treason. The president is supposed to defend America, defend American interests, and Donald Trump consistently has put his own interests above America because he is a selfish, child-raping piece of shit. This is actual treason. It was treason in 2016, and it's treason to this day, as he's still fucking doing it. And I have no doubt that there are calls between him and Big Daddy Vladdy, and they're talking back, Daddy Vladdy, I need your help. Gotta tell you, this election not looking good for you, not looking good at all. The numbers are down. Numbers are so bad. Donald, I can tell you that you must get ready and you must fight back. Thank you, Daddy, but can you maybe just give me a little help? I guess I can call in bomb threats. I can do that again. Thank you, Big Daddy Vladdy. Thank you so much. Oh, another trigger maga pedophile. Kenny-Q8P6X says, love these anti-fascist idiots that claim that, but yet they do everything a fascist does. Yeah, I'm such a fascist, guys, that I'm sitting here at a computer reading news reports, you know, as fascists do. I'm definitely not out in the street, you know, kidnapping people or shooting protesters or, you know, knocking over stands of people that are trying to make a living that just simply look different from me. You know, I'm definitely doing all of that while sitting at my computer. God. I just get the worst trolls. I get the dumbest, most fucking loser trolls. Why can I not get good trolls for a change? I used to. Mark Wallace, I'm serious when I ask about the DSA platform and what you think about it. Okay, I'm not really talking about the DSA platform right now. Joseph Lafondi 3439. What evidence do you have that Trump is committing voter fraud when in fact we are finding hundreds of instances of voter fraud on the Democratic side? Oh, what instances of voter fraud? Hey, Joseph, you mean like this? Hey, Joseph, you mean like this? Oh, I'm a left-wing lunatic because I'm calling you pedophiles out? Really? What's this? Hey, Joseph, we found the election fraud. Hey, Joseph, I got more election fraud for you. Hey, Joseph, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I got more election fraud. Hey, Joseph, don't go anywhere. Joseph. I got more election fraud, Joseph. Joseph. Okay, look, Joseph. You're not going to believe this. I found more election fraud. Again, you see, Hamzi, these pedophiles, when they come in here, it's always accusations. It's never facts. And I have this shit lined up and ready to go every single time. And they never have facts afterwards, right? There's never a rebuttal to this, right? There's never a rebuttal to this. It's like, you're a fascist. You're a fascist who's committing voter fraud. And I'm like, okay, well, this is voter fraud right here. And they'll be like, yeah, but you probably have ballots you have ballots behind your flag. Okay, well, this flag is it's a green screen. Where are the ballots, buddy? It's just always projection. It's never fact-based because they don't have any. They are inherently un-American and anti-reality based. I want to feel how they feel after what they do. One day I was walking and a cat saw me. I freeze so he doesn't go to the road, but he did and died. And since then I feel like a piece of shit. Wait, what? What they do one day I was walking and a cat saw me. I want to see how they feel after what they do. Oh, right. You're saying that you saw an animal get hurt and you felt bad, but you're saying that these mega pedophiles would do that and they wouldn't feel bad, right? Is that what you're saying? Stan Durko, welcome back. Oh, we have another triggered mega pedophile. Veritas Del 3649 says you can't pull up one example and act like the 9,000 don't count. Really, I can't find. You came in while I'm on the screen with at least one example. Oh my God. I have the dumbest trolls. The most dedicated haters of dipshits are in my chat. God, it's so fucking annoying. Every single time. He came in here, you have no examples, while I literally have this pulled up on the screen. Do you know how fucking stupid you have to be? Like, that's not even huffing glue. Right? That's like snorting nails level of stupid. Some kids shove like crayons up there. I swear to God. These fucking mega pedophiles in my chat snort fucking uranium lines. You know MAGA only listened to Adolf? Yeah. Adolf Hitler Trump. We assess that China prefers that Trump be defeated. In the past few months, it has stepped up public rhetoric criticizing his administration, which it recognizes may affect the election. Although, blank. Why is this redacted? Although blank, Beijing did not intend to try to affect the election. This is a weird redaction here. One of the documents that Trump has disclosed tonight has a section noting that China targeted the Biden campaign and does not currently intend to covertly. So this is new. As the 2020 election approaches, the IC has detected Chinese state-sponsored cyber actors targeting the former vice president's presidential campaign, probably to gather intelligence that could enable future operations. The first instance this election cycle that we have seen them directly targeting a U.S. presidential campaign. So again, they're targeting, China is targeting Biden. It's always projection. It's always projection. And this was under Trump's own IC. Trump's own intelligence community saw Russia try to tamper with our elections, saw China try to tamper with our elections, and they did fuck all about it. Speaking of, so the president has supposedly just unveiled a massive plot by China to interfere in our election. He's going to do nothing to China in response. No sanctions, no countermeasures, not even a phone call to his buddy Xi. Come on. This gives the game away. You can tell that this is bullshit. Because if there was any actual attempts to stop the election interference, we would be sanctioning China or targeting China or countering China in some way, and yet Trump is doing none of that. Barbara Lawrence 5210 says dumb. I agree, it is dumb that Trump, the pedophile in chief, is not trying to stop China, even though he's blaming China for the election that he lost while he was in charge. It's so dumb, right? I mean, Barbara, you would have to be a real brain-dead MAGA moron to believe stuff like this. Right, Barbara? So, speaking of dumb shit to believe, Barbara, this is for you, by the way. Great video, John Solomon, the architect of Trump's stolen election speech tonight, fleeing after admitting no votes were changed.
We're not telling the president.
Did you acknowledge that there were no votes changed in 2020?
All I can acknowledge is what the intelligence shows, right? I only know the intelligence community has zero evidence that someone has flipped, that a foreign power flipped a vote in 2020, 22, or 20.
See, Barbara, so it's really stupid. Oh, Barbara, you are a stupid mega pedophile. Trump is the best president since Reagan, and yet he's claiming an election was stolen, which his own people are saying, no, we have no evidence of that. Wow, Barbara, you literally do, like, huff fucking uranium lines, don't you? God, these people are dumb. This is the most of Trump priests and nuns I saw since I started watching you. Yeah, they kind of come in a different, it just depends on when I'm streaming. Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's none. Well, there's definitely never none, but just depends.
24.
And you have you're able to acknowledge
We're not through all the documents.
You're able to acknowledge that Venezuela has not tampered with voting machines in the United States.
No, the intelligence is very clear. They did it on their own machines. Why is it important that they did it on their machines? Their machine protocols are the same as America. Why? Because for a long time they did exactly.
And so the 2020 election was in fact the results as the American public.
I'm still researching, so let me. This is the first.
But there's no intelligence.
Not
You've
yet.
been on
Guys,
this.
he's gotta go.
There is no intelligence that the election would have said that Donald Trump was
The president
president.
said that tonight. Thanks, Chief. We're not telling the president.
Did you acknowledge that there were no votes changed in 2020?
All I can acknowledge is what the intelligence shows, right? I only know the intelligence community has zero evidence that's.
So there you go. The intelligence community has zero evidence that votes were changed. Yeah, MAGA rules to Lululand. Yeah, they're all fucking insane. It's the cope and seethe land. So, Tim Pool, the bald moron with a podcast, Trump says Intel shows China paid U.S. journalists to write negative stories about the Trump administration. They're calling this the least self-aware post of all time. An indictment filed Wednesday alleges a media company linked to 6 conservative influencers, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson, secretly funded by Russian state media employees. So these guys literally want to cry about foreign countries paying to write negative stories while they take that exact same foreign country money. It's total fucking hypocrisy. It's always, always, always Republicans. Generally, whatever they are accusing someone of, the opposite is true. For example, AM1 First News, Trigger Mad Pedophile is in my chat right now. Hang on. Says, how did I make it to the dumb side of YouTube? So again, projection. So this means he's too stupid to understand actual facts, actual evidence, actual arguments. So he has to be a whiny baby little bitch in my chat rather than, you know, get an education and get on the adult level. But that's why they fuck children, is because they can't be on the adult level. Doing a national address just to deliver stammering, low-energy conspiracy slop just to, yet again, beg for the passage of the bill that will not have the votes. Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act.
Congress must pass the Save
How easy
America
is that to
Act.
do? Unless you want to cheat. The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad.
So again, everything projection, everything computer, everything trans, everything projection. He's saying the only reason you wouldn't pass this is because you want to cheat, which means he has to cheat, which is why he needs this bill to pass, because the only way that he can cheat and steal the next election is if this bill passes.
And your candidates are so pathetic
while he is a literal child rapist. Oh, here we go. Speaking of projection, another trigger mega pedophile. Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization, says the guy who votes for an actual pedophile that violates the human constitutional rights that we have here in America, violating the First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendments, and everything else that we have against search and seizure and probable cause. But yeah, Antifa is the domestic terrorist organization. Sure, pedophile. Sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Let's get you back to bed, huh, Grandpa?
You can't get away or can't get elected any other way. Demands that Congress must.
It's just so pathetic. Again, MAGA pedophiles like Critical 509 always make me laugh because, like, this is your guy, this low energy guy, this balding low energy guy who has to put on makeup and rapes children because he can't get women his age because women are disgusted and grossed out by him. This is your guy, the guy that can't even lift weights. Okay, sure. Oh, another trigger MAGA pedophile. We have two of them back to back. Drew 30FL says Antifa is a terrorist org. Trump 2028. Okay. Well, I don't know if your pedophile in chief is going to make it that long based on his health records. Coyote Dathesian says beta. Meanwhile, this pedophile uses a fake profile with a fake name and can't even show his own face, but I'm the beta. Okay. Raffle Trump 2028 says shooting coyotes. Oh, so you are not only a pedophile, you're a psychopath. Shooting coyotes? Yeah, you're a psycho. All the way home, 781. Oh, here comes the pedophile brigade. I'm just going to go back one after one. All the way home, 781, MAGA pedophile. Hootie Tiger 2178, another MAGA pedophile. And so many MAGA pedophiles. You can tell that they're in my chat now because this is right before schools start to get out. So they're like sitting in the parking lots on their phones, scrolling YouTube, waiting for their victims. You know, I've noticed a big influx of the MAGA pedo party in my chat. It typically becomes just before schools start getting out and just after schools are getting out. Always in that time frame, right? That's when these pedophiles come in here. Trump is from German and Scottish descent, and all his four grandparents are from Europe, so if he wants only Americans in America, he got to go. Yeah, funny, his parents actually had to flee Germany because they were too chicken shit to join World War I draft. MAGA are pedophiles, criminals, racists, rapists, traitors, terrorists, Nazis, sex offenders, every single one of them. Oh, another trigger MAGA pedophile. Anthony Cook 2401. You are a pedophile. And of course you have another fake. And these guys always, they love to come in here and like give me shit while they use fake profiles that joined like 2 months ago. 0 subs, 0 views, 0 videos. It's all, and that's because, you know, if they were to show their face, they would set off the Chris Hansen alarm. Barron Trump funds Antifa. Yep, it's Barron Trump funds Antifa and Jeff Bezos. This guy is such a fucking cuck. Look at this guy. He is such a fucking poser. He is just a fake-ass wannabe tough guy.
I think I like the Daily Caller better than the Daily Mail. I really don't like the Daily Mail. Yeah.
Red Hawk 9190. I agree. This guy who supports pedophiles, yeah, that is kind of a punk thing to do. Muckio, LOL.
People are watching President Trump's speech last night, watching your remarks today, and they're feeling uneasy about casting.
MAGA men sleep with Trumpy bears and wear Trump panties.
Can you ensure that the midterm elections will be secure?
First of all, great question. Thank you. When we start talking about can we ensure that the midterm elections are going to be secure? Yes, we absolutely can build confidence in the American people.
Hey, you heard it. If there's a blue wave, that's it, buddy. If there's a blue wave, we did it. We did it. Red Hawk 9190 says host is a punk. Oh, I'm so hurt, dude. You support a pedophile, but I'm a punk. Oh, man, I wonder which of those is worse. R. Arnold 1011, get rid of Putin's bitch and lover the orange pedophile POS lying slimy demented diaper diddler dozing Russian traitor DJT. Wow, that's actually pretty good alliteration, dude. Maybe there's someone Ander that wooden thing. I don't know its name. I'm a little confused, Hamzi.
But the states have to do their part. I will tell you, if the states that choose not to participate with the state program and they choose not to participate in securing the elections, we will make sure that we make those states a priority to look at who voted in their states and hold then the election officials accountable. If the election officials, once we gave them the information they need to secure their elections, and they chose not to, then those individuals can also be held accountable by fines, by penalties, and even, depending on how far it goes, prison time.
So the Democrats really need to wise the fuck up here, because these guys are clearly making it clear that they're going to use Nazi tactics, and they're putting the burden on the states now when it comes to the voter rolls. Well, if they're not willing to fight back, then, this is just going to keep happening more and fucking more. Mullen used to be my senator. He said there were 4 branches of government. That's not surprising. MAGA men are constantly whacking it to pictures of Trump's neck vag. The only thing worse than the green slime in the pond is the orange slime in the White House, the wooden piece that has microphones above it. Oh, yeah, I get you, Hamzy. All right, I got to go. I unfortunately have a couple of things I got to run to. Please, if you haven't, like the stream, subscribe. Please make sure to follow me here on YouTube. I'm trying to build this account. I'm almost there. Mango Mussolini, the Dems are center-right. Well, no argument there. Calling Trump a Nazi and World War II soldiers Antifa as a way to whitewash the Jim Crow era, which is basically exactly what the Trump pedo party wants to do. All right, I got to go. Thank you.